Good evening to all of you. We would like to welcome you from the People's Go team to our talk show of every Sunday at 7 p.m. Myanmar time. My name is Thinzar Shunlei, and I'll be your moderator for today's talk show. So this that the People's Go and that We All Thought program, we have been organizing such a talk show every week so that the revolutionary leaders, the youth, and members of the General Strike Committee and the Front of People, we are inviting different speakers to join in the discussion, and that we are trying our best to be able to have our show every Sunday as well. And the people of Myanmar, despite the challenges, they have also people of Myanmar always continuing also to resist against the military regime as well. We also have a constant the followers who has been a follower with us, talking to us, giving us suggestions on how to improve the talk show as well. That we are also seeing more and more CDM soldiers who have defected to the side of the revolution as well. That NUG also have officially announced that the defector or the leaving the military to join the revolutionary side, and this is the highest number of we have seen the higher numbers defection, especially in 2022. We also have news that from the brigade 102 which is deployed in a current state, and that there were demonstrations, and that even the 2IC, the second commander-in-chief, also have has surrendered. So that shows that how the military hunter is trembling, and that the morale is low, and that the forces are also trembling in different area. And that's what we are also hearing from different front lines across Myanmar. This revolution is not just resistant or armed revolution. We are revolution. It is a revolution that involves all the aspects of the system as well. So it is also important to think about the ideology, because what kind of ideological revolution are we going on? That this revolution is important. During this armed resistance, there are also those who have lost their physical ability. They may have lost an arm or a leg, but their ideological change remains strong with them. So in our show program, we invited people from different parts of Myanmar, and today we also have invited those especially speakers who may have lost their physical ability, but who have never thought their ideology. So we have invited, this is the second part for the session. We have also invited the revolutionary fighters. They will be joining in this discussion. They will talk about about their experience in this revolution, and how they have become a person with different abilities, and that also what they are planning to do in this revolution. I would like to introduce you to our two speakers. For today's show, we have two speakers here. So normally we have three speakers, but we are able to get two speakers. One of the fighters is Arakanese revolutionary fighter. That although we intended three speakers, the third speaker, he was not feeling well to be able to participate in the show, so we have two remaining speakers here, and we'd like to introduce you to them. So the first speaker is Htun, and Htun is also the member of the rights for the person with different abilities committee as well. Good evening, Htun. Can you hear me? Yes, I can. So along with Htun, we also have another freedom fighter. His name is Comrade Crow as well, and that he is from the BLone. So hello, my name is Keegan, or Crow. You can call me Comrade Crow. So they are both here present in the Zoom, and thank you for joining us in this talk show despite the difficulties and challenges. So firstly, we'll go through their introduction. So I would like to invite Htun to introduce about yourself, about the work that you have done before, and also what kind of activities have you carried on, as well as what you are working on now, and then what are your current activities. Could you please introduce yourself? As I introduced, my name is Htun. That I am a vision impaired person. That right now I am staying abroad in a foreign country, and I'm from where I'm staying, I've been supporting for the rights of the person with disabilities. Before I was in Myanmar, and that we engage with the government, that and we engage with them for the movement and the rights of the person with disability. So this is something I have worked on before while I was in Myanmar before the revolution. And I'm also working for the social justice and that for the person with disability, as well as on the to fight against discrimination and bullying. That because just it's like the revolution, we also have been fighting for the equality, fighting for the ability to make decision, to be able to have our voice heard, and that without social justice, that we don't get equal rights. So that's why we have been working for consistently for as well. That after the revolution, I have been I have also been involved in this revolution as well. That we're also working on movement, not only inside the country, we are also working for the movement outside the country as well. We are engaged with other persons with disabilities and their personal disability organizations to promote equal rights for persons with disabilities. We are also working with the local organizations as well. Right now, so we have equal rights for the person with disability. We have established a joint committee for persons with disabilities. And this small committee have some activities as well. I would like to talk about these activities right now. We are engaging with the NUG government, and that we are also providing assistance to the persons who have been injured and who have become who have lost their physical ability during this revolution as well. That so we are also engaging with international like organizations for the rights of the person with disabilities, and also that we are also looking into the future, how we can help the person with a disability, and that to ensure they have the equal rights and to also be able to have access to humanitarian assistance. That's something that we are also working on from abroad. That the whole committee, our committee, our committee is no longer connected with the local organizations in Myanmar. That so I just don't work. I don't work with the organization inside the country, but I only work with the organizations outside, so that we can also work freely as well. Right now, during the revolution, during the emergency period, so we are also trying to find ways to get assistance to the person with disability during this time of chaos and difficulties as well. This is what I would like to introduce about myself. Thank you, Gozolento. Thank you for sharing, and that you're talking also about your committee work. I think this is something we should all know about it as well, because the fight for I will call it also call it for the fight, that the struggle for the rights of the person with disability is something you have to fight for to achieve as well. Doesn't matter how difficult that is. It is important to continue talking about and promoting the rights of the person with disability as well, and that I know that we will also know very well that the SAC doesn't do anything for the rights of the person with disabilities, and that you all know that Bai Tajo, like as a well-known singer, he has been sentenced the 3 years in prison, and then there are also for the activists who have been working for the rights of the person with disabilities, and they have to flee for their safety and security as well, and that so we'll, of course we'll also be listening a lot more here from Kosolinto about it as well, and also that we have provided you the link on the Facebook. So if you are interested, and please feel free to join us on the Zoom session so that you can ask questions directly as well. Now I would like to give turn to Keegan. That can you share with us the comrade crew, what are you doing now, and that what have you have done before, and can you also share about about your injury right now? Right now, So I am an injured comrade. So when I got injured, I think about it as well, and that that I may not, as have been injured, I will not be able to go to the front line and then fight as well, because I have to recognize my limitations, that I cannot be physically assertive as possible, and that you cannot deny what is happening to us. It is important for the reality to recognize, okay, I may be handicapped, I may have a loss the body part. Then what can I do? I have to think about how can I support, how can I contribute to society. That it is important that, for example, like I can also do like so I'm also trying to become a content provider and a content reader as well, that to contribute to the work as well. So I think this is something that something another fellow comrade became as a disabled who also is doing as well. We are also looking at the implications of the negative implications of the war, like IDPs, as well as on the civilians who have been arrested or tortured as well. We also want to provide psychosocial support. I'm also learning about the providing psychosocial counseling to the person as well. Comrade Crew, what did you do before you get injured? Well, before for me, I was a fighter who was handling rockets and missiles as well. I'm in the Southern Command. I was considered as a demolition fighter. And that while I was serving the duty, we had an accident that so PDF, we make our own weapons, we create our weapons, and we set our own battles for many reasons. That that whenever we have a lot of the forces are asked for it a lot, so we try to do as much as we can provide it. But there are like we have all of us, 7 of us were, including me, 6 of us were, the 7 of us were injured, and 6 has fallen. I was the only one. For my revolution is that that's the only thing that I was lucky enough to survive the injury. So your injury. So how is your injury now? That yes, I'm doing well. So that you have been discharged from the hospital, and that you are also participating. I don't know, you are from Sabeji area, that you also have a page of Facebook, Sabeji Facebook page, and if you want to support the Comrade Crew and his PDF team, also that you can also support them on the Sabeji page as well. That here Comrade Crew has also talked about how he got injured in this revolution, and if you want to encourage them, if you want to share with them, if you have any particular comments, feel free to join us on the Zoom, and the link is provided on our Facebook page as well. So let's continue with our talk show. Now we have listened to the short introduction about our 2 speakers. Where do they come from? What they are doing. Now I would like to give another chance, another turn to Kuzolinto. In this revolution, there are many ideology that needs to be changed, and the people are starting to see them as well, and that people are starting to understand that as well, and that at the same time that we have seen also there are a lot of the military brainwash ideas often that we have been people have been instilled into. So the revolution leader also talk about that we need to the revolt ourselves, we need to change our program way of thinking, brainwash way of thinking. And here, an important part is that it is also important to have a new ideology that is most fitted to best suitable to the revolutionary period as well, and that and also about what will be the ideological thinking that is that we need to change when it comes to revolution in from the perspective of a person with disabilities. Firstly, I would like to talk about the challenge of the person with disabilities in Myanmar. In that that in 2019, that so we had it. When we look at that, when you look at the population census and that as well, that 90% about 90 million of that is that about 90% of that 90% of the people of Myanmar are that person with disabilities. Person with disability are in every community. They may be in the mainstream community, they may be in the ethnic communities, they may be among the women, they may also be elderly. They are in different parts of the society. They are about 5 to 6 million around the world. And these and when we have a huge number of person with disability, what kind of support do we have? So our society, how does our society thinks about the person with disability? That because of the way our society see the person with disabilities, often the person with disability are not able to enjoy their human life. They have to they survive in independence of other people. They cannot they do not get much support. They have very little, they become like those person with disabilities. They get small, less skilled, not very skilled labor. Like they very few of them get education to be able to get good jobs as well. That for persons with disability, as I have explained, person with disabilities, even before this revolution, that they have always been fighting for their rights. What we want is that for our society to be the way that the Myanmar society is resisting against the dictatorship, and the person with disabilities have been fighting against the conservative way of thinking, against the discrimination of the person with disabilities. That during the time of independence, where Myanmar was fighting for independence from the British colonialists, and then when people said that we are the lords and that we are the decision makers, like the claims, like the motto that has been out there, we the people person with disability, do not want to be dependent. We want to be independent. We want to be recognized as such, and that we also want to be able to be recognized as well, and however, for a person with disabilities, either for for the so that when people are that of when we have to follow the orders of, when people get sick, we have to follow the orders of the doctors. For example, but however, person with disabilities are not treated the same as other people. If I go to a restaurant and the waiter will not ask me what I would like to eat, they will ask somebody I came with, as if the other one, who are the caretaker, can make the decision. I said I am the second citizen, as if I'm not able to make a decision for myself. So we have been struggling in the soft way, in the hard way, in the soft way to change the laws through the media and try to promote the rights of the person with disability as well. People with person with disabilities are part of the population as well. And during this revolution time, people got injured, and we are also seeing more people with disabilities as well. Like Comrade Crow, who has been injured during the front and in the front line. There are also civilians who were injured by the mine and became disabled in their own wards and villages. There are those who cannot get treatment, who cannot get the necessary nutrients due to the malnutrition and have had the standard growth. And there are many people who are becoming a person with disability as well, like the freedom fighters who have become person with disability, and normal people who have become person with disability. Being a person with disability does not mean they have less value than the people. In that there are person with disabilities. Often they are discriminated and treated discriminatorily as well. Often say that this person is around this ethnic group and that's why he has a darker skin. There will always be like that as well. there could be people, person with disability vary from different degrees. There are those who may have more fingers than you and I, or there could be people who are missing fingers. Well, person with disability vary a lot, and that often that is this we are treated differently. We are treated discriminatingly because of the barriers. We are the physical barriers. There are also social barriers. Some of the physical barriers are there that the environment are not friendly for the people with the personal disability, so we cannot go to work. For example, like if I want to go outside, then I will not be able to go. That because of the I cannot be able to climb the stairs. That I cannot see the stair. I cannot see that. If they instead of making stairs, if there is that small slope, then I'll be able to go slowly up the slope as well. A person with disability, that we have a difficulty. But still we can function. But if we don't, if we are not in an environment we cannot function, then we lost our capacity. We weren't able our ability to be at as well. So in the long run, when we cannot function on our own, we become dependent and we are discriminated as well. It is important to resolve these issues because there will always be person with disabilities, and we cannot discriminate them. We cannot ignore us as well. Person with disabilities also are also fellow human beings, and they should be able to function in an environment, and they should be able to enjoy the life that they are entitled to. The other day, that a child was writing there that there was only one road. So when we say that there is only one seat as well, like whether there be a seat, what the seat will be given to a person, to a child, to a person with disability, or to a strong man, to a physically fit man who will give given to that's the democracy. Democracy means the person have to make a decision. That it is important to democracy is so thinking about people with different ability, people with differences, and that even a person with disability also has the entitled to the equal rights as well. So for us, during this revolution, we need to that we need to look at the capacity, we need to look at the skills, we need to look at the person's ability to function. That these are the weapons of the person. If there are people with an arm, who do not have the weapons, then we need to help them, equip them with skills and the ability to function, so that the person will be independent and will be successful. And that's what kind we're going to help. When we talk about, look at it from the aspect of person disability, if there are barriers, if there are social barriers or physical barrier, then this is something we need to think about how we can do to overcome that what the ideology we need to think is that human rights are for the same. Everyone born either but with disabilities, or if you're acquired with disabilities, we are all the same. We are all human beings. We should be treated equally. We need to be recognized as fellow human beings, and we also need to be recognized for who we are, and that we are able to function. So that if we were to really discuss broadly injustice, fighting the injustice is our goal. That our goal is not just to fight injustice, but also to give justice to the society. So there is a social justice for every individual member of the society, have the right to decide, have the right to make a decision, have the right to information, have the right to social justice. And this revolution, this is how I see it, that there is both armed resistance and there is also a non-violent approach to change the ideology as well. And that some people will be able to contribute a lot. Some will be contribute within the financial limits that they have. That like some people will say, I don't buy military products. I don't buy that military related crony products. And this is also how another way they are in the soft light, in the non-violent, they are joining in this revolution as well. So we have the same goal. With the same goal, we may act differently, but we are all moving in this same direction as well. We all want justice. We will not say no to injustice. We will not let injustice happen to others. We will also not accept injustice happening in front of us, and we will not commit injustice to the others. Thank you. In the points that you have shared, that the that I'm sure that when after listening, it goes on into, I would also like to invite to write us comments and to say what are the same ideas or same thoughts that you have shared as well, and also that also if you're listening and if you have anything you want to say to those who are working for the rights of the person with disability, please leave your message too so that we can give it to that as well. And after listening to Gozolin team, what I've realized is that 13% of the population are the person with disabilities. That's according to the 2014 census. That's what you have shared. That now with the 2015 and 16, I'm sure there will also be with the revolution, and that because of the different situation, there are people also who are losing their physical ability different ways as well, and also some of the revolutionary fighters are also that also losing as well. Like here, so if for example, like for Comrade Crow, have you seen many other fighters with the who have lost their physical ability? Can you share us, Comrade Crow? Yes, as far as I know, around I think we have nearly 20 fighters who have lost their physical ability as well. In Kenya, we are about 60, 70. I think even in this revolution, there are about 100 fighters who have been physically disabled because of the revolution. And this is that whenever they are fighting, that is so like this is you're talking about also only about two areas about it. So there will also be this time you're talking about the fighters. We are talking about around 100 people who has lost, who have been physically maimed and lost physical ability, but there could be more among disabilities as well. And Gosolito, in your sharing, you also talk about how do you define a disability? How do you define a person with disability? So when I was listening to you speaks, yeah, that thinking about the person with disability is that it's not recognizing the different abilities of the people. And that this is also because of the political system and the society which fails to recognize that a person with different abilities. It's not person with disability. People have different abilities. And some people will be good at languages, some will not be good at other languages. That also that that maybe they may be physically able, but maybe there could be ideal they are so narrow-minded and that they cannot change their mindset, that they could be considered as disabled as and that those who are following the orders of the military SAC blindly, they can be considered as disabled people because they are simply not capable to see what is truth and to stand by the truth as well. But when there is not much support for the person with disability, I'm sure the disability becomes a bigger issue without even when they are not being affected. And when you also explain it, you also given us example about what the society needs to do as well. And that thank you for Gozolintong for sharing. Now may I invite Comrade Crew in the current situation that you are also created the Sabati page, and then you are also doing a content writer using technology to to participate, still continue participating in the revolution. So that how are you continuing in the revolution as well, and then also how are you trying to fulfill the needs of your uh, psychological needs as well as physical, like what you need to do? Can you also share with us? Yes, to start my commitment that is that injustice, that even that that before the military coup happened, we had beautiful dreams, we had bright futures, we also have families. But because of the military coup, and we have lost everything, we have lost our dreams, we have lost our future. We don't want to accept that. That's why we have joined in the non-violent demonstrations. That despite the COVID-19, people continue to demonstrate peacefully, but they had they have that they have attackers as well. And that we tried our best to protect ourselves by man-made shields, and they just keep on fighting, they just keep on firing us. And then it was a very hard decision for us to reach, because I'm married, I have two children, and my daughters are still here, and to make such a decision to join the armed revolution is hard. But we decided to do the armed revolution for the future generation, that we will take into this, that we want to save the future generations, that for the future of for the future of the country, and for the future of the other generations, we have decided to choose the less risk course of armed revolution as well, that we want that for equality, for equality, for justice, and that for the future, but the future of Myanmar, we are determined to make the best of it as well. That I may be injured, that I have my whole life has changed. That my whole life has changed suddenly, but there are also a lot of difficulties and challenges, because I lost, and leg, and that that I can see that my leg has been had destroyed, and we lost everything, and I knew we didn't have anything at all. We lost our camp, we lost everything, we don't even have a shirt to put on. But the doctors tried. The doctors really refit my leg if it's as well. But they put a steroid into it. But it only lasted for 1 month. So it is important. You have to able to control your thinking, your idea as well. We are revolutionary fighters, that we have decided to give our sacrifice our life to and all forms of dictatorship, including the military dictatorship, and that everyone should have justice, equality, and that equal rights, and that until there is justice is there, we need to go fighting. And that's how we have been, and that's the decision that has also, this commitment is making me survive and struggle every day. There are many challenges. When people see me, they say they want to help us as a, as that, when you say that, yeah, they say you are physically disabled, I want to help. And they say that you are PDF. And then if you say that you're PDF, well, you're PDF, you are an fighter. And that they said they're going to help us. Well, even among the person with disabilities, we are discriminated for being fighter. But that does not stop us. We remain committed to the cause. Thank you for sharing. And I think it's also, these commitments are also very important too. These are important reminders what is our ultimate goal. And it is also important to, to remind ourselves of what we are working for as well. So BLone team is also continue fighting on for the remove for the index resistant as well. And that there are discrimination against the freedom fighters with person with disability. That Chris, discrimination can be in many ways. There's a, because you are a person with this, although they may be a person with disability, and because you are a fighter, because of the PDF, and that they will discriminate from getting access to assistance. And then when you are, because physically disabled, they could also discriminate you. They may look down upon you, and these are also the challenges that that person with disability have faced and are still facing even in our day and time as well. May I also ask you a follow-up question about the revolution? How do you see the current revolution? How is the revolution moving forward? And also, what is the message you want to give to other revolutionary fighters and the people supporting as well? And after that, I will also give a turn to those who are listening to our talk show, and we'll also be inviting the others to ask questions on the show as well. So that according to the current situation, as you all know, people are exhausted, and that is a reality. People are exhausted, and the freedom fighters are also important. Those who are providing us with the logistic are also getting tired as well, and also those who are fighting on the ground, they are also fighting as well. So a lot of us miss home as well. It's been a long time that we have left home, and this is not our professional life. This is not what we want, and this is not what we hope to achieve. But we hope to survive any way we can. So we are all tired as well, and we all want this revolution to be ending very soon. That's what we all want. But we still have to try very hard as well, and our efforts cannot give up. We do our best, we try our best, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We have to do more. We had to be that we need to put more efforts into it. We need to be united. We need to stand strong for this revolution, because our efforts is not enough. We have to do more. Thank you for sharing, and that for the comrade Crew has been sharing not only his wife, but also a freedom fighter also sharing about what he has also has from other comrades as well. I would like to give a chance to go Solento to also to share about it, so that for the psychological and the physical support of the freedom fighter with disabilities, how can the people help? What can the people do to contribute? Thank you for the question. So to recommendation to the freedom fighters, that before I give a recommendation, may I also add a few more points about the person with disabilities. So when you do revolution, that person with disabilities have participated in this revolution as well, because we have been always been asking for the equal rights. We did not ask for equal rights by sitting. We are part of the revolution. We are part of the movement as well. And then when the revolution started, and then there was a violence crackdown as well, and it is making it harder for us as well, because that for the person with disabilities, they cannot hear, and whenever when they say will start to say run, or that some of the person with disability got easily injured as well, and that they cannot see or they cannot run, and also that I think, for example, like the singer, for example, like and he was not able to run for it as well. That that Vitajob was having sentenced 3 years of prison with hard labor. That 3 years in prison is okay, might be okay for an average person. For a person with disability, this 3 years of imprisonment with hard labor, it's like sentencing 10 years in a Myanmar prison because of the hard labor. That this was that and he will not be able to do that hard labor, and there could be more that he will be. And it's like sentencing him to death sentence, because that hard labor sentence to a person with disability is making it harder for the person to go through this world. That it is inhumane and brutality against a person with disability, and there has been other incidents or such brutality against person with disabilities before as well. In this revolution, that 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 because of the revolution, that have the injustice being afforded. What we are seeing is that there has been what you are seeing, that more freedom fighters who have been injured and become a person with disability as well. That if we look at the law, that for either for the movement of the person with disability or the revolution, the law is quite the law is considering the same, and that is impacting more on the people, and that for not only on the fighters but also a person with disability as well. How can the people support when a person become a person with disability? For example, like a person who have lost his who is an arm or leg during the revolution, but they may have lost their physical ability, but they haven't lost their life. They will need to survive their life in a different way. They will need to live their life in a different way. For example, like a person who have lost that, when you are a child, you start by learning. You start by crawling. You start learning. That you can walk in an active way as a model. You walk in an active way. People walk differently. In the same way, you may have a person with disability. You may also be able to live your life in a different way as well. Being a person or disability does not mean it's the end of your life. You can continue to move as well. If you look at other examples of the many people all the world, there has been great achievements. For instance, like American President Franklin D. Roosevelt, he had polio, and he is physically disabled. He have to move around on a wheelchair, and yet he was able to provide a leadership as well. And these are incredible, because like Stephen Hawking, like Professor Hawking, was is known for his the scientific approach, and yet he is also a person with disability. There are incredible people like this, and we are giving some examples, well-known example, but there are more people like that on the ground. That like for example, like you have other that people who have been able to overcome the challenge of physical disability to become that they're successful in their field. Disability is not a weakness. Disability doesn't mean that a person will be able to function well, will not be able to have a normal life like other people. It is important to help us so that we can function. That in England, for example, that in the parliament, there are parliamentarians who are physically disabled. Even in Thailand, that if you look at the Senator Mundinpoden is a senator that has a physical disability. That even in our neighboring countries, and they have make sure that person with disability can function, can walk, and can go different ways, and that they understand that the person with disability can contribute to the society, and that they are important member of the society at large. And this is what we want. It will take time. It is important to make sure that we may be physically disabled, but we live in a different way. We have our own style of living. It is important to help us be able to function to the fullest possible as well. And that the future is that, that we also have a future as well in a future democratic federal nation, which guarantees aspiration, which guarantees the hopes for the people. It is important for ethnic communities and all the different other diverse communities need to be embraced by this nation to ensure there is justice for us all. That means there is no consent for all of us. That what we have to worry about is that the next government that came to that those who will become, who will become our authority, our government, the leaders also need to understand as well, and that we don't want another dictator coming as well. It is important that the next government will need to recognize all of us as well, and that in that that it is also important to recognize that as well, and it is important that our society also accept them as we are. That when we think about the person with disabilities, we continue to survive. We have to continue to survive. That we cannot stop living. That our life may have changed, but then we have to recognize it. We have to accept it, but we also need to keep on living. So my message to the people is that in the society, often the women women also have their own needs as well, and that because women have a different biological needs, and then when you're a person with disability, they also need differently as well. And that when we look at the women's that the gender issue, it is important to take into consideration that women have different needs. When you have a pregnant mother, she will have different needs than an average woman as well. In the same way, it is important for the people to understand about the person with disabilities, or the person with different abilities. And that's that it is important not to you have to let a person with disability be independent, be part of it. You cannot say, we'll talk about the person with disabilities, we'll talk about the rights of it. No, you need to let the voice of the person with disabilities in the consideration. They should be able to speak about their rights, what they need. It is Myanmar has already ratified the International Convention on the Rights of the Person with Disability. It is important to, in that case, to implement and enact laws which will promote the rights of person with disability. But Myanmar has been very slow in that as well. I'm not talking just about the local laws. It is important that Myanmar will need to comply with the international laws as well. That will be important as a federal nation. It is important to ensure that different federal states will have that it is important that if we focus on data using the international standard as a standard for the federal union, then we will have a success for us all. That it is important to recognize it. It is important to accept us. It is also important that person with disability to recognize ourselves that yes, we are person with disability, and there we have needs. We have different needs, but we are also working for the same goal. We are all working toward the same goal, and that is also important. The authorities and those who are in the leadership will also need to recognize us and accept us as well. That we cannot go in the same way. That we cannot continue as in the past. The human rights should be for all of us. That's what the message I would like to give, and that it is important. Person with disability should not get discouraged. That should not feel also depressed, because we are different. But we can function. We are able to function as well, and that being different is not a problem. We are all different as human beings. None of us are equal. It is normal that we are different, and that it is normal that we act differently as well. That's the nature. That's the diversity. That that we became different could be for various reasons. However, it is important that we are all human beings. We all have the same values, and that we can all that work together to achieve the goal as well, and that person with disabilities, the new person with disability or old person with disabilities. I think we are if we all try to work together to reach the goal, and by helping each other, we can achieve our goal of equality. It is important to help us. It is important to support us, and we want to let us finish. We're not saying don't pity us, don't put mercy on it. You don't have to pity us because we are a person with different abilities. We can survive. We can do it. What we need is that assistance, so that we can function as well. Some people think that, oh, a person with disability, we should get some medical treatment and then that's where our work is done. No, that physical injury can be healed, but they also need mental support, psychological support. They also need assistance to be able to survive and to in that hard life that they have been to do. But they just need your assistance too, so that they can function as well. You don't have to be the caretaker, but they can be the one make a decision. It is important to think about it as well. It is important to change the ideology and mindset of the society, to recognize people as who they are, and to recognize for what they do. And that as well, because if we are not recognized as a member of the society, if we are not, our human rights are not recognized, then we will not have justice as well. It is important to think about the issues we have raised, that the positive disabilities that, like you and I, the average human beings, that they are all part of the goal. So it is important to recognize as a best. Thank you for excellent recommendation, and that also that I'm also really learning from you, and that because it is important that who is our goal for, and what is our goal, because our goal of a federal democracy union is to have a just war, to have social justice for all different communities and societies in Myanmar, and that will be our goal, especially that those who have been that because of the systems that the people have, because of the wrong way of thinking, that there's some of the that some of the societies or community have been forgotten, or that have been behind. It is important to ensure there is justice for all. It is also important to give right to representation as well. Like each to his own, and a person will know about his life more than that. No one else know about your life more than you. So that that there could be when a person become a disability as an IDB or as a freedom fighter or as a normal civilian, that you know your life and you know what works for you, and you should also be able to have the right to decide as well. I think it will go the same, that the human rights and equal rights should be for all the citizens of Myanmar, and also for the person with disability as well. It is important that the NUCC, NUG, and CRPH, other important leaders also need to think about also the voice of the voice of the person with disabilities as well, and their voice. We need to amplify your voices in the revolution. All of us are participating in the revolution as well. So thank you for recommendation, and these are also valuable as well, and that we are running out of time, and that and what you have been sharing has been really incredible, that we have been following with great interest into what has been shared. I think also our audience have been very interested in what you both have been sharing as well. We do have a hand from the one of the participants, so we are given permission to Vivo 1901, and if you have particular questions or if you want to discuss, or feel free to you can also write down in the Q&A or the comments as well. So we'd like to invite people 1901. Please introduce yourself. And also, if you have a question or comments, who do you want to address to? Thank you. This is not about the topic, but what I would like to share is that the other day there were two freedom fighters, PDF fighters who lost their life because they are trying to get their weapons, and the fact that they try to get their weapons, and that I just want to raise the point as well, because I always hear about the news on the Facebook as well. Are you a PDF or are you a civilian as well? I'm a I'm a civilian from that. I just want to share that the PDF will try to get their weapons so that they don't have weapon. I think it's also very sad. My recommendation is like that. I have also talked about the BLone as well, that the PDF when they are trying to get weapons, and that that I think they can use like big magnet to to be able to get the weapons from far as well, and that and I was also the work I work in. I've been trying. I've been running tests and using the big magnets to get weapon as well. I've been also that for the PDF, if they want to go and pick up weapons, that if you have a rope and if you they can use the magnet, and that will be and they can also practice to get the weapons from afar. I think that kind of exercises will be useful for them as well, and that because if they have to go and get the weapons and they could get injured or they could get killed. So I'm also being part of the I'll be contributing as well, but I think that what we are contributing is not enough, and that they need weapons, and that sometimes that could become a challenge. If you have a like a you can also watch a YouTube on Facebook, and then even that you can even able you can also be able to use a magnet to be able to get even the heavy objects right from the river bank. So that works. So that if we can do is that in the cycle in the cycle mode engine, then you can use that magnet to do that as well, and that if you try to get it from the area that using the magnet using a rope to get the weapon, so that and also to be have them then you could also the use tools and like to be able to get that cover fire to get the weapons, because I feel like I know this is not off this is off the topic, but we are feeling that a lot of PDF have been losing their life by trying to get the weapons of the fallen soldier, and that is very sad. That if I can share this, maybe we can help the PDF this way. Thank you. So as a concerned citizen that you are worried about the PDF that are losing their lives on the ground, that we also seen many events first where they have lost their life. So you're here to remind ourselves of for them to not to lose his life as well. And that thank you for sharing. Thank you also for your accommodation as well. And that do you also want to react, or do you want to say something after listening to the topic of about the person with disability? What did you discover, or do you also have learned something as well? I was I was not able to listen to the whole as well, because I also walk in and I also join as well. I was able to join only that, but I will listen about the talk show as well. Thank you, thank you. I think it will be great if you will listen to about the talk show as well. You can also share us comment as well, and despite the busy the busy life, and that you have work to joining us as well. And if you want to give information, if you want to directly talk to our speakers, we always invite you to have the chance to speak as well. It is not just for us as well, and sometimes that in the people's in the power people's soldier, and sometimes SSC soldiers they have directly joined to them to talk to us as well. Sometimes they talk about what they feel as well, and then we had the revolutionary fighters also talk about and explain also about our feeling as well, and that some of the ideas they have wrong ideas. We also try to share that that's how this revolution this talk about the that people soldier talk have started. I would like to invite another person. I would like to invite Go Brown. Go Brown, please go ahead.
Okay, boss. Yeah, my okay. It will be
Thank you.
long. So now,
Thank you for this opportunity.
so
That and I was listening to that Comrade Crew and Siaso, who will talk about also about the person with disabilities, and they are also the role that the person with disability has played in the revolution is also incredible. In that one, Siaso in the tones talk about is that person with person with disabilities that you have been talking also about this. Yeah, talk about also the working for the rights of the person with disability, and it is true that a person that I think also like Franklin Roosevelt, that Franklin Roosevelt, despite being physically disabled, he was able to lead the United States and do as well, and that in the story, and that he was known as the that third most brilliant president as well, and these are the international standard. He has also made the decision important decision as well. In the same way that during this Spring Revolution as well, from the demonstrations to the revolution as well, that the person with disability has been they may be physically disabled, that they have contributed, they have participated in the revolution in different ways, different area as well. And that's why some of this revolution, these person with disability has been targeted, has been injured, also has been arrested by the troops of the SAC as well. And that although that they may be physically limited, but when it comes to ideology as well as on the way of thinking, they also have participated, they contributed a lot to this revolution as well. On the one hand, that solidarity also was evolution as well, that
ရှိတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒါအင်မတန်မှကို
that
ညာပြတဲ့လူထုဒုက္ခတွေဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီအနာဂတ်
with disability. So that is quite a high number. So that we hope that they are
သူတို့ဒီလက်ရှိတော်လှန်ရေးဦးဆောင်နေတဲ့ခေါင်းဆောင်တွေအနေနဲ့ဒီ
in the future as well, when we rebuild the new nation as well, it is important to have the support of it is I also like to do like how do we need to listen to the voice of the person with disability for them to be able to continue participating, and what do we need to do to bring in the voice of the the Spring Revolution as well. And that this is important that so that those that they also need to be I think it is important that they be part of the movement as well. So in that case, what is the message you want to give to our leaders about the participation and the voice of the Spring Revolution? And so what is the message you want to give to the Myanmar leaders as well? That I would like to ask that. Thank you. So Kozolintho, it's your turn. So any advice or to the leaders to bring in the voice, to bring it and amplify the voice of the person with disabilities? To the leaders of the Spring Revolution, my message will be that that revolution is the time of urgency. During the time of urgency, that some of the facilities or that I think that of course you won't be able to improve the existing facilities to have accessibility, because the resources are very limited during the revolution time, during the time of urgency. So what we need to do is that we need to use that we need to be able to use the limited resources we have for what is needed as well. Let me give you an example. That for example, like for the IDPs, for example, that they provide assistance to the needs of the IDP as well. That if you have a person who is hearing impaired, then this person, he will not be able to go and talk as well. He will not be able to listen as well. That he may have a difficulty to engaging with other people. In that case, that about to help him with this, something that there could be he will have a communication barrier because he cannot hear as well. In that case, then there are things he can do, and that it is important to give him a job to do so that he can move things here. He may be that hearing impaired, but he will be able to do something. He'll be able to contribute to the movement as well, and and also to give them some support so that he can help volunteer, or that engage him with them. There are many things that people can do to support the person with disability during this revolutionary period as well. And also, it is also important not to underestimate as well the person with disability also have different values. So when a person became physically disabled, then it is important to keep their morale up, and that by giving them tasks and the duties that they can carry on, it is also important to keep the morale up of the newly disabled people as well. What we always say is that when a freedom fighter is injured, and then it's now the work of the doctor, and I don't have to do anything. No, this is not true. When you have a freedom fighter who is injured, the doctor will be able to heal his physical injury, but he needs to be have a job. He needs to have the duty. He has been a member of the revolution. Then he needs to be able to continue. So I'm sure that leaders are also thinking about it. It is important to think about giving tasks as well. It is important that leaders of our leaders also will need to ensure that they are included, their voices amplified, they're recognized, and that they are given duties, and that to be recognized and that appreciated by the by the by the by the leaders as well, because these are the rights of the person with disability as well. It is basically part of the humanitarian that system as well. It is important that be part of it as well, and that it is also important that those are to get them equal right as well. That it is also important that they should be able to participate as well, and the fact that we are also invited to this today's talk show shows that our rights are recognized and that our voice is also recognized, and that also shows that whether you are listening, the fact that you're talking about this person with disability issue, it also augurs well. It means that is a good sign for the future as well. Cobra, do you have any further questions to follow up? No, no more. Thank you. So Cobra question is very pragmatic, and for that what the I think that that person with disability organization are saying that there has been some progress, but it is also important that our society has a very deep-rooted idea as well. Some of these ideas will be difficult to change as well, like discriminating or that looking down on the person with disabilities. There can be many things that we need to change. So if you listen to the points that have been raised in today's talk show, it is important to understand that it is also to share them as well. We have discussed a lot better. Just 1 hour of a talk show is not enough. This is the second time we just talk about the person with disability, and that I also like to encourage you to continue talking about this. If you have it is important to know if you have your community have policy about the person with disability. This is also contributing to the revolution as well, and well, it is also think about our society. We also need to think about the person with disability as well, and that whatever you do, you also need to make sure that we need to check ourselves. Have you thought about the person with disability as well? So thank you to our speakers, Gonzalo and Comrade Crew. Thank you very much for joining us. We also like to thank the other participants of joining us also, and that we are also on the live as well. We also see a lot of comments and that they share those so a lot of very positive response, and then some of them say that your daughter is a very cute comrade, and they also want to support. They also want to donate as well. That they are also keep asking about how they can help you, and how they can also donate as well, and that if the people want to support as well, and the Sasoloto has said this very clearly as well, that it doesn't end with just giving a donation. You don't have to pity the person with disability as well, and those who are participating in this revolution. Then, like the way you support you can also support them as an organization as well. For example, like a comrade comrade crew, for example, like they have a BLone team, and they're on the Sabeji, they have the channel. So please go and enjoy the channels, and then also reach out to them, connect to them as well through this comrade crew. You can also reach out to other injured freedom fighters as well, and that it is important to show solidarity and support for the injured as well. That this way we can also go further along, because just that making a donation is not enough. It's the contribution. It is important to support them, to recognize them as well. Would like to end our talk show here. Thank you for joining us, and that next Sunday we hope that we'll be able to